Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, Heyoka High Priestess. I'm Christy. I'm a seer, healer, and a Heyoka empath. And we talk about the truth, spirituality, healing, and divine justice. Okay, so let's hop into this. So I titled this, Many Are Called, Few Are Chosen. The Awakening of God's Chosen. Okay, so many are called, you guys, but few are chosen. And one of the hardest truths people must face is that being chosen does not mean life becomes easier. It means you are asked to see things clearly, sometimes before anyone else does, okay? To be of God means first learning to forgive yourself. Because if you cannot forgive yourself, you will never fully step into who God created you to be. Each individual of us, we are so individually made. We must see ourselves and love ourselves. At this time, and in all times, you guys, with anything that we do, if you cannot forgive yourself, okay, done good, done bad, you will never fully step into who God created you to be. Okay, we spend so much of our lives looking outward, looking to people, systems, approval, success, validation, believing those things define our worth. But the truth is much simpler. What God placed within you was already whole. Okay? The purity in you has always been there. The godly essence within you was never missing. It was only covered, clouded, and distorted by the expectations, influences, and programming around you. Many of you were held back by the very things you were taught to believe were supporting you. Family expectations, being the one who gives everything, right? Being the pleaser. We've all been there. Doing what others wanted so you could be accepted. That's a big one. And little by little, those choices pulled you away from your own sovereignty. But there comes a moment when God calls you to open your eyes, not just spiritually, but in the physical world too. That what we are doing day to day, that is constantly draining us, not giving back to us, not fulfilling what was told to us half the time, right? I'm sure a lot of people are sitting in confusion of that. And I think a lot of us are sitting in those moments of, what do I see now? What are these truths that are coming, like that are here in front of my face, right? What are these karmas that are hitting me? What is this? That is the silver lining. That is the veil being lifted to and for you to show you. You have been providing, giving to others, to structures, to, the world, being promised things that only brought you back down to your own foundation of you, to have to see again, to have to see correctly, to not be fooled, to not be limited by people, places, things that were never going to fulfill you. Okay, so you begin to see these things differently. All right, and sometimes it takes breaking down all the stuff around us that we were putting towards, right? Thinking we were going to get up here, that we were promised. It was needing to break all those things down to see yourself again. And because that's the right path, you guys. Like that's where God needs you to start. To see, you don't need outwardly things such as promises and, the shortcuts, the scams, the schemes. To be used by the system, to be used by these people. To what? Be left and abandoned. To have to start again. But now that has occurred in some people's lives, we see clearly. And now you see you. You rise for you. Okay? Because you begin to recognize where you gave your power away. You begin to see where systems, relationships, and beliefs were shaping you into something that was never truly you, right? And there was always that little piece within us that knew that path wasn't us. That choice wasn't ours. And it's okay that it occurred. Sometimes that is divinely put in for you to see it and have it done and then be left, and then no one is going to fool you again, okay? So you begin to see the systems, the relationships, place where you're shaping you into something that was never truly you. So at that point, you have that decision to make, because becoming who you truly are requires surrendering, right? You must surrender everything that tried to fragment your soul. The expectations, the roles, the conditioning, the belief that your value came from outside of you. And it doesn't. And it doesn't. And anything that you think you can hold on to, even like money, even the materials, it can just deplete, right? It goes away. We spend money like it's gone. What will you be left with? Always. You and your vessel, your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul, okay? So the belief that your value came from outside of you had to be seen to also be depleted to see you again, who you truly have always been. Many people are taught that if they do not continue serving those structures, the expectations, the ego-driven goals, the ego will trick you, but it's yours. And that's where the balancing of it comes in. Where do we use the ego properly? So we don't get fooled by our own ego. And no one else can use the ego to trigger us into getting fooled and played and abandoned. Okay? So many people are taught that if they do not continue serving those structures, the expectations, the ego-driven goals, again, the image of success, then they are failing. But those things often only create short moments of satisfaction, right? They are temporary happiness, temporary validation. And eventually, God allows those illusions to fall away because they must. They must. And they get so far away from us anyways. We get lost in the choices we made, the confusion that was wrapped around us looking like gold wrapping paper, that we were going to rip ourselves open into a whole new being. No, seriously. Hey, I have been there too, okay? So God allows those illusions to fall away because we had to learn the lessons of our own choices, of the ego, of outside everything to fall away because it wasn't you, nor for you. It was all outside of you. Okay? So the dust then clears, which I think a lot of you guys are in. The dust clears. The glitter fades. We see clearly. And what looked like light beings to reveal itself as something false, your vision begins to clear. It is like cleaning a lens, you guys, because once the lens is clear, your real light begins to come through. That was always there. Always there. We just were lost. So we had to fill it. But we were filling it with outside sources, things, places, people, right? That knew. A lot of them knew what they were triggering that ego for, what they were filling your desires for, right? Well, so you now have cleared the lens, okay? The light that was always yours is now clear to you. The light that no one gave you and no one can take from you. And that is when the truth becomes unavoidable, right? You were never meant to become someone else. You were always meant to become who you already are, but to build from within. And trust me, I'm telling you right now, the ones that are bruised and battered right now, scared and angry, because they see who has lied and harmed them without getting revenge. Your revenge is turning that fucking pain into your power because you always had it in you. They distracted you. They showed you glittery things that were not long lasting because they weren't yours. You will now build from within, and no one will fuck with you. I'm serious. Party one over here. So again, you were always meant to become who you already are, God's chosen. And God already knows who you are, has always known. He was waiting for you to see you, okay? God always has the strength you were searching for outside of yourself, which we all have done. So let's all make sure no one's yelling at anyone. We all have done this, okay? The strength you were searching for outside yourself has always existed within you. Okay, and yes, we did not know that. We did not feel that. We did not see that. So we're not going to get angry at that part. But now we are just stronger because we know what we're not going to tap back into, what we're not going to give away, what we're not going to sacrifice ourselves for others and, things and people, places, again, because we got up. Many people must first walk through the darkness before they realize that, though. And we all have had to. That's like that whole dark night of the soul, okay? And sometimes that darkness disguises itself as opportunity, aka all things outside of us, right? So as success, as attention, as wealth, as recognition, okay, as validation, as lies. But eventually, you realize something important. The only darkness you truly need to face is the darkness within yourself that you probably already felt prior to making choices that were outside of us, right? So your fears, your wounds, your doubts, your anger that you might be feeling now, it's okay to feel that, move through that. When you face those things, honestly, something powerful happens. You stop running. You stop chasing. You stop searching for validation outside of yourself, right? And you begin to rebuild. And you're gonna rebuild it badassly. Is that a word? No. But you're building it from you. It's you and you, yours and yours, okay? Piece by piece, right? You gather the parts of yourself that were scattered along the way. You call back those soul fragments. You definitely get rid of the people, places, and things that, allowed you to even get yourself there, all right? You clear your vision again, all right? And you begin to understand something most people never fully realize, you guys. You were always the light, always. You were always the one meant to guide yourself back to your path. Your destiny was never somewhere outside of you. It was always within you. So now it becomes time to rise. Okay, and I know this can be sounding annoying, but you are here, you are now clear, and we are all working at this. We are all doing this. Okay? So remember, forgive yourself first. Okay? So time to rise, you guys, not with ego, not with pride, but with clarity. Because you are so clear now, okay? You rise above the ego. You rise above scarcity thinking, okay? You rise above fear. And with that ego that we all still have, you use it properly. You use it to benefit you, okay? Do not lay it before anyone's feet to fool you ever again, okay? Because fear is often nothing more than something that convinced you that you were powerless, right? Someone told you that you needed them, that you needed their approval, their system, their validation, without practically saying that, right? But they swayed you. They pulled you into a trauma bond. They boosted up your unhealthy ego, right? Because they needed something. They wanted something from you. They didn't want to face their fears. But it's better with a partner, right? Well, you're not ever dealing with a partner like that again. Okay? So, but the truth is you never did. That you needed their approval. You did not need their approval. Okay? You never did. We thought we did. We did not. And we do not. And when those illusions fall away, it can feel uncomfortable. You may feel alone. You may feel angry. You may feel confused, like I said. You may feel like everything you once believed no longer makes sense. And that's okay. Okay? It's needed to all be unearthed, right? So we can be a little grateful for what we do see now, okay? We're not wasting time being in an illusion of half of it not being even our own making. But we do take accountability for where we sit, right? Because we don't want to end up in another cycle of lies, okay? So yes, you may feel like everything you once believed in no longer makes sense. That's good. That's like, we're here, okay? But that is part of the process, because when you sit with yourself honestly, something does shift, okay? And when you consistently do that, you will have constant shifts, ascensions, awakenings to truth, your own feelings, your own knowings already. Okay, so you begin choosing yourself at that point. Absolutely. Not in arrogance, not in selfishness, but in truth. And you get to have that. You get to choose that. Yet again, no one can take that from you. That is such a beautiful fucking thing, I'm telling you. So you begin choosing yourself, not in arrogance, not in selfishness, but in truth. And when you do that, something powerful happens. You return to yourself, but you return to it in the knowing of all that occurred. It's not going to occur like that again. Okay? This is the awakening. This is your awakening. You return to yourself. You remember who you are. All right? And you're bolder, stronger, wiser. And once that happens, fear no longer controls you because you already faced the hardest part, you guys. The part where you realize you had been standing in your own way and in, communing with others that were definitely not meant for your path. So at some point, many of us were our own greatest obstacle, right? Our own doubt, our own fear, our own hesitation, our own choices. But when you move through that, something changes. You become your own strongest defender, your own protector, your own warrior, exactly as God always saw you, exactly as you were created to be. That little bit of you that always felt that and knew that, but didn't know how to put it in full effect, right? And then we got, caught up in all the things. That's okay. It's okay. It was meant to happen that way, you guys. We're always meant to be where we are in our life, okay? So exactly as you were created to be, which is why we can no longer allow our ego to lead us down a filthy path. The ego has already shown us where that road goes. It leads to division, to comparison, to chasing things that never truly fulfill the soul. All right? Remember, soul fulfillment is what we're trying to get. So instead, we learn something deeper. The soul that was once confused becomes aware. The soul that once felt fragmented becomes whole again, okay? And we begin protecting what has always been ours, right? Our true essence, our inner light. The light that does not belong to the world, it belongs to you. And you get to choose what world, what place, what people you get to present that light to. Who gets to be in your energy? You get to make those decisions. Not other people get to sway you. No, not anymore. So that light does not belong to the world. It belongs to you. It is meant to be expressed, shared, and lived, but it cannot be stolen or taken unless we allow it, right? Again, that whole kind of giving our power away. And now we know better. We are no longer staying trapped in anger. We are no longer living in revenge. We are no longer stuck in stagnation. Everything we have gone through, every mistake, every loss, every deception can now become power, because power does not come from avoiding hardship. It comes from transforming it, which means the question now is simple. What will we do with that power? Because each of us has a choice, right? Another choice, we always will have choices, right? You already lived through the hardest part, you guys, okay? Because each of us has a choice. We can remain divided, or we can stand together. I stand, you stand, we stand, okay? And when people stand in truth, something stronger than fear begins to form. Unity, strength, clarity, and it sticks. Okay, and it only grows and grows and grows and fills this world with light, honesty, confidence, beauty again. And that is where real change begins, right? Not when the world approves of you or me or us, right? But when you approve of yourself, when you say, I'm ready for this, when you say, that's the standard I wanted to meet, you know, and I'll work this many hours, whatever it is, you know, you get to choose that, right? You get to choose who you want to be around. You get to choose the places you want to go, what you want to build. You get to choose to, you know, protect what you have. And you, when you're ready to show it or never show it, you know, it's about you and you. Because once you truly accept who you are, you no longer need the world to confirm it. You don't, okay? That's the beauty. You go at your own pace. You go like, you're not sitting in a need. You're of a validation, not sitting in a need of, you know, I have to make this for who? Other people, other timelines, other this. You are within you. And you can change it up, you can switch it up, but that's how solidified it gets to be. You are that solidified. You may appreciate recognition, right? You may feel grateful for support, right? At this point, right? Because you have harnessed you. You may, but you no longer depend on it, okay? Because you already know, you already see. You already accept yourself, and that self-awareness stabilizes you. It does. It grounds you. It strengthens you. And something else becomes clear. Okay? Every person you encounter, every experience, every challenge, good, bad, or neutral, you guys, all of them played a role in bringing you closer, okay, to discovering who you truly are. And they will continue to in the future. So even the hardest experiences had purpose, right? They helped you see yourself more clearly. They forced you to look inward. And in doing so, they brought you closer to the individual you were meant to become, the strongest, the clearest, the most aligned version of yourself. That journey, you guys, the journey inward is where the victory begins for yourself, right? And for the life you were meant to live, that you are meant to live, okay? And one more thing before we close. There is an energy in this world that we all know of, that, you know, been around, now see clearly, you know, but an energy that is also can be attached to people, places, things, okay? Right now that many of you can feel beneath the surface, okay? Some systems, some structures, some people who once benefited from control would rather see people asleep than awakened, right? We know this now, okay? They want the awakened ones to fall back asleep and into confusion, fear, or silence, okay? But you don't need to fear that, all right? We are not going to fear that. They fear, hence why they're trying to put us back to sleep. But there's no need to fear it. We are to just stay aligned, stay awakened. Obviously, we're awoke. They can't put us, you honestly, you guys, they can't put you back to sleep. Like, it's foolish, okay? We are in our light. We see our light. We know who we are now, okay? And we are going to come together to continue to brighten this world, okay? Because we know we've been through the darkness. We've been through it. We were held captive by it, okay? So you keep moving forward, you guys. You may not always see the forces trying to pull people back into old patterns, right? But you can feel the shift happening. So continue doing what you know in your heart is right. Keep speaking, keep living, keep being your bold, heartfelt, awakened selves, you guys. Continue to be you, okay? Okay? Because the more people rise into the truth, all right, into their truth and awareness, right, the more the old systems lose their power, lose their money, right, stop the corruption, and what happens in return, we receive the money, the abundance, and God's holy glory and grace. We are given that, okay? Because you are aligned, you're on your path. All God wants to do, all the universe wants to do is be receptive to you, but you had to learn yourself. You had to see the bullshit to know, I don't want to be a part of the bullshit. I ain't bullshit, I'm the light, you know? So light does not need to fight darkness either, all right? It simply shines, and it is you to shine. And as we all know, when enough of us choose to stand in that light that's always been in us, it was just dormant, we were confused, you know, but now we know, and we're stronger and bolder than ever, all right? More confident. Everything built on deception begins to fade on its own. Timelines fade away, people even fade out, pass away maybe, but you know what I mean, all right? Because we shine, we create more light, the darkness does. The dark within the ones that do not want to choose to be their own light. But we are the light, okay? I love you guys so much. I hope this helped. I would love to see your comments, and yeah, I hope everyone's doing really well. It's all nice and sunny and things. It's been great. Get outside. I love you guys.